Hey kids, it's Mr. Phelps coming from the back of my Uber. Here's Mrs. Phelps.
No, we made a mistake already.
Oh my gosh, it's a Lyft. Let's try this again. Okay. Good call. God, first round, no go.
Yeah, alright. Retake.
All right, good morning, kids. It's Mr. Phelps coming from the back of my Lyft. Here's Mrs. Phelps in the side, and our wonderful Lyft driver in the front,
Yes,
doing a great
yes.
job. Hello, keeping us safe. He also said he loves math, which is beautiful. So as you can tell, I'm absent today. I'm off to a wedding right now of one of my best friends, Trey. So the videos today are going to overview the math problems. You should have your best behavior today. Make sure to follow all the directions. It should be fun and a pretty quick review as we start a new set of concepts after IA. All right, here we go. Do now review number 1. Find the missing value in the equivalent fraction below. We have 3/5 equals blank over 100. Well, to get from 5 to 100, we have to multiply by 20. And we know we have to do the same thing to our numerator, times 20. So our number in the blank is going to be 3 times 20, which is 60. Final answer for number 1 is D. Give yourself a check if you said D. Do now number 2. I'll read it out for us and you annotate as we go. Mr. Phelps is in New Orleans to be at his best friend's wedding. The wedding lasts for 1 2/10 hours, and the reception or party lasts for 3 45/100 hours. How many hours is the total event? Well, we know the wedding itself is 1 2/10, and the reception is 3 45/100. Notice the decimals are lined up, and each place value is lined up. So the ones on top of the ones, and the tenths on top of the tenths. We're finding the total hours of the event, so we need to add. And our place value will need to be a 0, so we have every place value filled out. Our hundredths place, 5 plus 0 is 5. The tenths place, 4 plus 2 is 6. And in the ones place, we have 4. So just think to yourself, is our answer 465 hours? No, we forgot our decimal place, so go back and add that decimal. It should be 4 65/100 hours. Give yourself a check if you got number 2 right. And finally, number 3. To travel to the wedding, 1/3 of guests took an airplane and 2/5 took a car. If the rest of the guests traveled by bus, what fraction of guests traveled by bus? Show your work. Well, this is one of those fraction problems we like. First, we have to figure out what goes in our jot box. We know 1/3 equals airplane. And we know 2/5 went by car. And the rest took a bus. Well, before we can make our model, we have to figure out what our common denominator would be. Between 3 and 5, we know this, our LCD would be 15. So I'm going to show our work on the next page. Let's make some equivalent fractions. The airplane started with 1/3. I'm just going to put A for airplane. Was 1/3. And that has to equal something out of 15. Whisper to your neighbor what the numerator would be over 15. If you whispered 5, you're correct. Now I have to do the car. I want to put C for car. Started as 2/5. This has to equal something over 15. Whisper to your neighbor what our numerator should be. If you said 6, nice work. Notice I'm still showing the numbers I'm multiplying by, even though we've done this for so long. Always show your work. So I have 5/15 and 6/15. Let's draw our bar model. Here's a big rectangle, split into 15 equal pieces. That takes 14 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 5 of the 15ths we'll label A for airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 of the 15ths we'll label C for car. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our jot box says the rest should be bus. So I'm going to use blue and put a B in all of the rest of them. And that took up 4 of the 15ths. So our final answer should be 4/15 of the people took a bus, which is option C. Give yourself a check and a silent fist bump if you said C. All right, scholars, we're about 20 minutes away from LaGuardia. Turn the page. You should be on page 2. At the top, it says notes. Be there in 3, in 2, and 1. Here we go. Our notes for today are finding fraction of a whole. To do this, we're going to use a bar model or a tape diagram to visualize different situations. Here's the first situation. Imagine the bar model below represents a total of 15 pounds of chocolate. Delicious. Label each section with the correct number of pounds. So a bar model I'm going to outline in red so you know what I'm talking about. It's this rectangular thing in the top of your page. And with bar models, the top is always the total amount. Circle that on your paper. Top equals total. Well, in this situation, it says we have a total of 15 pounds of chocolate. So we're going to put 15 at the top of our bar model. Oops, it's kind of hard to write in the car. There we go. Make your paper look like mine, 1-5 above the bar model. And we have to label each section with the correct number of pounds. Well, just count to yourself, how many total pieces is this model split into? Hold up the number of fingers for each piece. If you're holding up 5 fingers, you got it right. So we know there's 5 pieces, and if the total is 15 pounds, how many pounds would have to go in each piece? Well, we would think about division here, because we're splitting 15 total into 5 equal pieces. So off to the side, put 15 divided by 5 equals 3. And then put a 3 inside each section. When I say go, you have 15 seconds to explain to your partner, how did we know 3 should go inside each section? Explain to your partner. Go. Track the video in 3, in 2, and 1. Sounds are off, pencils ready. Let's finish our summary. Each equal piece represents blank of the total. Well, I'll tell you, this needs to be a fraction in this blank. And if we have 5 total pieces, each individual piece would represent 1/5 of the total amount of chocolate. So this yellow thing I just circled, that's 1/5 of the total. This piece is 1/5. This is 1/5. Each piece in our model is 1/5 of the total amount of chocolate. Now it asks for the total bar equals blank pounds. Well, we knew from our sentence and our label at the top, because the top equals the total, that is 15 pounds for the full bar. And each piece represented 3 pounds. When you have all these blanks filled out, give a thumbs up. Now in our examples, we use the bar model to solve real problems. Example 1. Annotate as I read. Ms. Harris is giving out hot chocolate. She has a total of 50 ounces of hot chocolate, and she gives you 3/5 of the total. How much hot chocolate did Ms. Harris give you? Show work. I circled 50 ounces and 3/5 of the total, and I underlined how much total chocolate did Ms. Harris give you. You can also box keywords like of the total here. Start with our jot box. Write the 3 things in the jot box. First, we have 50 ounces equals total. And it says she gives 3/5 of total. We'll just go with 2 things in our Dropbox this time. Pause the video to make sure everyone can finish these notes. Alright, back to our problem. First, we need to write this as a numerical sentence. Well, if our total is 50 ounces, and we're trying to find 3/5 of the total, the sentence we would write is 3/5. The sentence is 3/5 of 50. 50 is our total, and it says Miss Harris gives away 3/5 of the total. Well, we can tell based on this sentence and our expression, we're going to need to use multiplication. So our expression here would be 3/5 times 50. Almost every time you see the word of in math, you'll be using multiplication. So 3/5 of 50 is the same as 3/5 times 50. Let's figure out how we can multiply this fraction and this whole number. This is a picture of the bar model I have on your paper. We know we always start with the total on top, and the total for this problem is 50. So put a 50 at the very top of your model. Our expression and sentence are 3/5 of 50, or 3/5 times 50. So show me on your fingers how many total pieces we should split our bar model into. If you said 5 again, you're correct. Let's split it into 5 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines makes 5 equal pieces. How could we figure out what each piece represents? How many total ounces each piece represents? We can divide 50 into the number of pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 50 ounces split into 5 individual pieces gives us 10 per piece. So let's put 10 in each piece. And we can even check our work by making sure all of these 10s add up to give us 50 total. I'm going to circle the numbers on my screen. You can just watch the screen. So do not write this, just watch the screen. Here's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, which was our total, so that worked. But we haven't actually answered the question yet. We want to know how much 3/5 of 50 is. Well, let's go on the bottom of our bar model and label 3/5. Just put a little box or a little line underneath 3 of the fifths. That would give us 10, 20, 30 ounces, which is our final answer. All right, kids, we made it to the airport on time. We're here waiting for our flight. Very exciting. It's me and the missus. We've got pizza and we've got math. What more could you want? Let's move on to example 2. Here we go. We're now on example 2. Turn the page if you need to. I'll read it as you annotate. There are 12 kids in Saturday Academy. If 2/3 of them are girls, how many boys are there in Saturday Academy? I've circled key numbers, underlined the question, and boxed a few key words that I think will be important. Let's start with our jot box. I'll do it in green so you can see it. First, the total number of kids equals 12. We know the girls, I'll just put G, equals 2/3 of total, which means the boys, or B, if the girls are 2/3 of the total, think to yourself, what fraction is left over for the boys? If you thought, well, the boys have to be 1/3 of the total, you're correct. Again, pause if you need to make sure everyone gets these notes down. It's asking for how many boys are in Saturday Academy. Well, we know boys represent 1/3 of the total. So the sentence we can write here, I'm going to go to a new page. The sentence, you can just fill this out on your paper that's already there. The sentence would be 1/3 of the total, and the total was 12, so 1/3 of 12. Try to make the expression on your own. If you wrote 1/3 times 12 for our expression, you're correct. Whenever we see the word of in math, it almost always means multiplication. 1/3 of 12 is the same as 1/3 times 12. To show our work, we're going to use a tape diagram or bar model. They're the same thing. So draw a big rectangle on your paper. I didn't give it to you this time. You actually have to draw it out. First thing we do is label our total. So draw the little arrow. We know our total number of kids is 12. On your fingers, show me how many total pieces I should split this bar into. If you have 3 fingers up, you're correct, because we're trying to find 1/3 of the boys and 2/3 of girls. We're looking at thirds, which means we have to have 3 pieces. Next, we got to figure out, well, how many kids are represented by each piece? The total is 12. We have 3 pieces. Well, let's split 12, split it using division into 3 pieces. That would mean 4 per piece. So 4 here, and 4 kids there. Each third represents 4 kids. And we can check by doing, well, if we have 4, and we have 1, 2, 3 of them, 4 times 3 gives us 12, which is our total. So we know that works. We could also do 4 plus 4 plus 4, which is also 12. Okay, so now we have to make sure we answer the correct question. It's asking for how many boys there are. Well, we know from our sentence we want 1/3 of 12 for the boys. So let's take our pencil and just mark off 1/3 of our model, which represents 4 boys. So our answer here would be none of the options that I gave you. Oops, Mr. Dulce made a mistake. Let's put letter E and make that 4 and circle that. So our answer should be 4. A challenge question. How many girls are there at Saturday Academy? Talk to your neighbor, try to figure it out. Bring it back in 3, 2, 1. If you said, well, all of the people that are left over would have to be girls, there would be 8 girls at Saturday Academy. Nice work. When I say go, you're going to try the partner practice problem at the bottom of this page. You'll have about 3 to 4 minutes to finish it, and then we'll review using the video. Partner work. On your mark, get set.